MassComm, where MassComm students are making things happen. This is WICR.
We do.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Final Whistle. Kevin Walsh alongside David Giacomino. We're going to be rocking some NFL talk here for this last half hour. Week 1, come and gone. A lot of good games, a lot of good storylines, a lot of stuff to evaluate after that first week. Some teams overachieved, some underachieved. Some predictions were proven correct, some were proven wrong. We're going to get into that for sure. I think we should probably... maybe we'll start off, though... the AFC East. All teams get victories. Some more impressive than others. I'll quickly assess the fact that the Dolphins played terrible, but they played the Redskins, and they're able to find a way to win, and that's good.
Yes.
The Jets did what they're supposed to do, and they beat up on the Browns, and I think that they played good, and I think that they made a big statement with Chris Ivory. The Bills had, in my opinion, the win of the week in knocking off the Colts, who most people favor to get to the Super Bowl. Rex Ryan maybe has the team to get it done. I really liked what I saw from the Bills week 1.
I like what I saw from Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor does look very, very good. And the Patriots did what they're supposed to do. Some people, I think, came away a lot more impressed than I was. They picked apart a high school defense. Honestly, the Steelers' defense didn't even know how to line up. They left Gronk uncovered on more than one occasion. I don't understand how that's possible. How do you miss Rob Gronkowski? He's literally huge. But they did what they were supposed to do. Brady looked sharp. He looked good. Last year it took him 4 games to kind of find his rhythm. He was there week 1. Their defense, although it only gave up 21 points, their defense did not look good at all, in my opinion. A pair of missed field goals, and then Hayward Bay putting his foot on the out-of-bounds line while sitting in the end zone.
Yeah.
They correct those quick mistakes, and it's actually a Steelers' victory. 120 yards plus on the ground for D'Angelo Williams, and 350 plus in the air for Big Ben. I think that the Patriots kind of showed, in my opinion, who they will be. A team that's going to be Tom Brady reliant, and the defense is not going to be able to help them get a lot of victory.
Well, that was one thing that we knew coming in, that the defense was going to struggle, and it had to be Tom Brady in a shootout in a lot of these games coming up that he's going to need to win it by himself. Because let's just face it, their defense got manhandled by a rushing offense that wasn't too highly thought of coming in. They didn't even have their best player, and you have to wonder, are they going to lose some games going against a tough defense that maybe they can't score a lot of points against, and then their defense is going to let the game slip away?
I mean, you think about the game next week against Buffalo in Buffalo, where the Patriots do always seem to struggle. Now,
yeah, and it definitely gets a Rex Ryan defense that Brady always struggles.
Rex Ryan is going to put a much better showing than what you saw from the Steelers. It is going to be very, very tough for the Patriots to get into that type of rhythm. And then when you look at what their defense is going to be tasked with, a guy in Tyrod Taylor who did look sharp, and LaShawn McCoy, who's a billion times better than D'Angelo Williams, and they actually had some other runners out there who look pretty good coming out of the backfield. I think Buffalo is going to give a real good game to New England. I actually think Buffalo wins this game. I think it's going to be a big statement for Rex Ryan and Buffalo that they actually have a real chance here to make a push.
As much as I loved how Tyrod Taylor played, I don't expect him to play that well again. Just for the fact that he doesn't have the track record, and I don't think he's as good.
He played a tougher defense in week 1.
Yeah, I don't think he's as good as a player as he played, but it wouldn't shock me if he fell off a little bit. Is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But if he plays that well again, very well might have an upset, and it wouldn't shock me.
I think that a thing for that game and to pay attention to, though, and what I think limits the likelihood of Tyrod Taylor struggling is he only threw the ball 19 times. He's not going to throw the ball, Sam Bradford threw the ball 52 times.
And he has some good rushing day.
Yeah. No, because but that's what Tyrod Taylor is, and I think that he's a weapon in himself, and I think he knows. I think he kind of makes the right decision because he plays a little bit more conservatively.
Yeah.
And I think that is a good thing, and I do think that Buffalo comes away with this victory. But I'll ask you now. I said the Dolphins would win the division. You said the Patriots, correct?
Yes.
After week 1, and I mean this obviously would be huge to react. But after week 1, do you feel that the need to switch your pick, or do you still think that New England would win that division?
No, I'm not gonna switch.
I mean, it's only week 1.
Yeah.
I still think the Dolphins, but I'm just.
As of now, I'm not gonna,
So nothing
switch.
You saw that drastic?
No, nothing. I still think Brady's Brady. The defense did scare me, but it's not enough to switch my pick.
I definitely, though, I will say Buffalo caught my attention in a big way.
Yeah.
In a big way. That's how I feel about that.
I will say that, the Jets did have a big. It's what seemed like if you just looked at the score, 31-10. That's a blowout. I don't think they played as well as the score says.
You don't think so?
The first half, at least not. The first half they were struggling, and the second half they had a lot of help by some turnovers. Johnny Manziel started fumbling the football, throwing some picks. They had a lot of help.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that's help. I think they have a pretty good defense that they can rely on, and I think for the Jets, that offense has found an X factor. I think Chris Ivory's gonna have a big year.
Oh yeah, Chris Ivory played very well.
I think he's gonna have a big year.
Yeah,
I think Chris Ivory is gonna be the X factor.
They have to.
Forward.
They definitely need to run more often than they pass with.
I think they will. But the thing is, if teams start to say, okay, they're going to run, and you start focusing on Chris Ivory, Eric Decker and Brandon Marshall are no joke.
I'll tell you what, Brandon Marshall had a day against Joe Hayden, and Joe Hayden is no joke.
He's top 5, top 10 corner at the minimum.
He
top
was just going up. Thank you very much. I'll take it, and having the touchdowns. And I not to say I didn't expect Marshall to have a big day, but I knew he was going to do something, but it impressed me.
I think so. I think that the Jets moving forward are going to look good, and later on in this segment we'll get into pick'ems for next week. Let's take our attention though to the NFC East. Only one team came away with victories in this division. The Redskins, honestly, I just think are going to be real bad. I think they're going to be picking in the top 5. I think they're going to start to get along the lines of the fail for Cardale bandwagon and trying to get Cardale Jones in there. RG3 is slotted as their number 3 quarterback right now, which is just, it's a real shame of what's going on over there. The Cowboys-Giants game was a great game.
Yeah.
Real fun to watch. The Giants got carried by their defense, which was, I would say, the surprise of that game because they were supposed to be their offense who carried them. Didn't like what I see from their offense. No one really impressed. No touchdowns from Eli. The only reason they had an offensive touchdown is because on the pick, the guy stepped out at the 1.
Yeah.
Romo looked real good though. I'll say that. Romo, in my opinion, looked real good all game, but he just couldn't get the third down conversion, and that's what forced them to punt and come away with not as many points. But end of the game, he put together a pair of real nice drives. And got them that last second victory.
Yeah, and it's what Tony Romo has always done, and he has one of the most comeback victories in all the NFL since 2000.
Since he entered the league.
Yeah, and he's always done that throughout his career. He's had some slip ups, obviously, but who doesn't? Who doesn't throw the occasional late game interception when you're trying to force things? And he didn't have Dez for most of this game. And
but even when Dez was in, Dez didn't look good.
No, he had a big drop. Honest. He had a big third down drop. And I think the fact that they didn't have Dez to focus on, I think I was impressed at the last 2 drives that he was able to just go down the field so easily against that Giants defense. That did look okay throughout the whole game. Mm-hmm. And how do you not double Jason Witten on those last 2 drives?
Well, what happened was, and I think you have to give Romo, he picked on that middle linebacker.
Oh, a poor middle linebacker.
I mean, the kid actually had a decent game. He had 12 tackles. He had a pick. But he got picked on, and it wasn't just the Witten plays. First play, 25 yards, short pass to Lance Dunbar. Then the next play, a 15-yard pass to Lance Dunbar. And then you come back, Jason Witten, then the out route to Terrence Williams, and then Jason Witten just
I'll say this.
Easily into the touchdown.
Great decision by Romo to not spike the ball throughout the whole drive because it allowed the Cowboys' momentum to keep going. It allowed the Giants to stay they couldn't reset themselves. All right, let's refocus what we're doing on defense, and it really it flustered them that they were like, oh wow, they got this now. They got this. They're getting closer.
In my opinion, him not spiking the ball though is why I think that game would have still been won by Tony Romo, even if Eli took the sack, because he would have just spiked the ball then, and I still think he would have been able to pick the defense apart with spiking the ball, he would have had. I'm telling you, he would have had similar time. He was getting to the line and letting 15 seconds run off. You don't do that when it's a 2-minute drill, but he knew where he was going with the ball.
Yeah.
He knew what he had to do, and he was very confident in that.
I don't like the fact that Eli Manning told his running back, "Don't score, don't make it a 2-possession
But
game."
is that what happened?
That's what reports are saying. Rashard Jennings came out and said that.
But then Tom Coughlin said that was never told to him. So what a cluster.
Yeah, right.
Very, very interesting, that situation. I think though, I think the Giants have some positives though, because the offense is not going to play that bad all year. The offense is too good to play like that.
No,
and if their defense though plays to that level,
I'll tell you what, they had absolutely no pass rush. I don't know if you want to say that's the Giants, that's the Cowboys' offensive line.
No, you're absolutely right. They had zero.
Romo could have had a cup of coffee and dinner and still had time to throw the ball.
Absolutely. He could have tried to make things up with Jessica Simpson.
Yeah, and
even though he's happily married, but still.
I don't think the Giants are going to be that great this year. And the fact that they had the amount of turnovers that they had and they still didn't win the game says a lot.
Yeah, I just think that it came down to the lack of offensive production.
Yeah,
I mean, Eli Manning threw for no touchdowns, and like it was. I know it was well under 200 yards.
Yeah, I think it was like 150 or something like that.
Yeah, it was 153 yards. Well, it's terrible.
They just gave this guy $84 million.
You got to play better than that.
Yeah.
I agree. And the other team, the Eagles, two different teams showed up for the Eagles. First half, they looked.
I'll tell you
horrible.
what. I almost texted you after the first half, but I thought better. I was like, wait. There's a whole second half. They might come back. If they come back, then he's gonna shout things and scream at me.
Yeah. No. I'll be honest though. I feel very good after watching that game, which is probably surprising because of the fact that they lost. The first half though, the problems were not in the talent or the play calling or things like that. They're featuring two brand new guards. They lost both their guards. So they had some mix-up on the offensive line. And then they got into situations where they were forcing Sam Bradford to throw, and he was missing some throws. He was missing some guys were running some wrong routes. The team, outside of Darren Sproles in the first half, just didn't look ready. But in the second half, they looked amazing. They looked dominant. Sam Bradford maybe had 3 incompletions the entire second half. DeMarco Murray, although it wasn't a huge rushing day, but he was able to find the end zone. Darren Sproles was still looking good. I think that, and their defense picked it up. They didn't allow any touchdowns. Only 6 points in that second half, a pair of field goals. They did a great job. That defense in the second half, I think the Eagles are much closer to what you saw in the second half than that first half.
Oh, okay, so you think the second half team is going to show up next week?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really do.
And I think they need to run the ball more with Murray. They got to get Murray more involved.
I think they will. I just think that the offensive line, I think that there were just some issues up front, and I think that a lot of people are going to start to, see what happens when he doesn't have the Cowboys offensive line. The Eagles offensive line looked great in the second half. They were fine.
Yeah, he had a lot of time to throw the ball. So
but some bad penalties, some week one mistakes. Some week one mistakes that I think get corrected.
That will need to get corrected if they
The biggest thing to me that I think is an issue and very concerning is how Byron Maxwell looked. He did not only get chewed alive by Julio Jones, but that's expected. It's Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Roddy White was eating him up. Byron Maxwell didn't look too good, I'm being honest.
Yeah, and
now luckily there's no Des Bryant coming up next week, but I think Byron Maxwell really needs to barrel down, come up, and make a statement against Terrence Williams and not let him have any time.
They're very lucky that Des is not playing.
I agree completely.
And
I agree completely.
That will have a big impact on the game, but I'll just throw out my week 2 prediction. I think the Cowboys win.
I definitely think the Eagles win convincingly.
Convincingly, wow. All right, I highly disagree with that.
I think the Eagles win convincingly.
I don't think so at all.
Based on what?
The fact that the Cowboys are going to be, first of all, they're going to be hyped to stop Murray, and I think they're not going to let Murray do anything. And I think the offensive line is going to be want to have a big day, and he's going to have all the time in the world yet again. And I think he's going to have.
Do you understand how much better the pass rush of the Eagles is?
Oh yes, I do. But just the offensive line of the Cowboys is great, as you said. But I think he's going to use Jason Witten yet again. I think Terrence Williams is going to have a better day because he had a lot of drops that he should have. They were in his hands. He should have caught.
Terrence Williams isn't that great of a receiver.
He's not bad. He's at number 2. He's number 2 to number 3. He's not number 1. He's solid number 2.
Now he's the number 1.
Now he's number 1. But still, he's still a capable wide receiver. I think Romo is going to play well enough to win the game.
I think the Eagles are going to be too much for them to handle. I think that their defense did not get tested week 1, and they're going to be tested heavily in this game by that Eagles attack. And I truly think that Romo's going to see much more pressure. Now, their offensive line, I watched the game closely to see the offensive line. In pass protection, they look great. The run was there, but I mean, it wasn't as if they were like 50 yards downfield like everyone makes them. But pass protection, Connor Barwin, Fletcher Cox coming at you, and also the difference in between that rookie linebacker and Kiko Alonso is huge.
I'll tell you what impressed me, that Romo was picking apart where the blitz was coming from like he was Peyton Manning, and we never really saw that from Romo. But he doesn't really do that. But
the Giants are getting their blitz calls from a rookie middle linebacker.
Still, it's still.
Look, this kid did this 50 times. By now, I know what this means. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a big difference in between what he's going to come up against from week 1 to week 2. It's a big difference.
All right, we'll see next week who's right.
Of course we will.
I'm going to end up being right.
Of course. How about you give me, outside of what we just spoke about, a team of the week, a team that really impressed you, that you really liked what you saw from?
I said this was a game to highlight coming into the week. I think the Rams. The Rams impressed me. They beat the Seahawks, and they were able to come back for a victory, and they went at Richard Sherman, Nick Foles, and I was impressed. I was. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Seahawks were that impressive. Not that they weren't impressive. I didn't think the Rams were played better.
I think it's awesome to see how the Rams won that game with a huge special teams play with the Tyler Lockett punt return. I believe they had a scoop and score. The Seahawks defense. So the Seahawks were doing their normal things. The Jimmy Graham touchdown. Marshawn Lynch didn't look too bad. But the Rams just
they very well after the sack fumble for a touchdown, they very well could have laid over and said, "Wow, we had it was a good run. We had a chance to win the game."
No, but they're right there. They're ready to play. The team that I have to give a lot of credit to is the team that I said is going to be terrible this year, and that's the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I think.
Now the Vikings looked atrocious.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't really think too much into it.
Carlos Hyde was the best running back of week 1.
Oh wow, my fantasy team thanked him.
That spin move was something else. Colin Kaepernick looked good too, to be honest. Quarterback I personally don't have too much faith in, but Colin Kaepernick did look very good.
He's shown flashes of what he's capable of doing in the past. Just which quarterback is going to show up.
I have to give the 49ers credit, though. Week 1, they definitely impressed me. Quickly, if I have to say a team that really underachieved, it probably would have been the Vikings, because I thought the Vikings were going to be much better.
They didn't give the ball to AP.
What's going on with AP, too?
They didn't give the ball to him.
Something's up there. Something's up. He was not in for an entire drive.
I know.
He just went with Matt Asiata.
And he took like 5 guys that would try to tackle him down like 5 yards. He was carrying them, and he didn't look hurt. I don't know what happened there.
There's something up there. Is there a team that you felt like really underachieved and didn't give you a good?
Underachieved? The Broncos, even though they won. Mm-hmm. The Broncos.
How about the Ravens too, though?
Yeah, both of those teams. The Broncos offense did not look good. Peyton Manning did no touchdowns. And
no offense touchdowns.
Their defense showed up like I thought they would. I thought the Broncos would have a solid defense this year. The offense just didn't show up.
Very true. All right, now let's look ahead to week 2. Let's get into these games. Let's give our analysis of what do we think will happen. We'll give them a little bit of a pick 'em here. The Thursday night game I think is going to be a great game.
Yeah.
Kansas City Broncos.
I'm going with the Chiefs on that. Just the fact.
So am I. I mean,
yeah. The Chiefs look very good. Very good.
You know me. We spoke about it. I'm a big Chiefs guy this year. I think the Chiefs are going to be very good. Now, they didn't put together a full 60-minute impressive game. The second half, they kind of slowed up with the Travis Kelce not doing as much and things like that. Still no receiver caught a touchdown, and that's going to be a storyline until Jeremy Maclin catches one.
Yes.
But I just think that the Chiefs are a little bit better of a team. Game at Arrowhead too. But I definitely think that Peyton has a better day.
Yeah, I think Peyton's gonna be like, what's going on here, and he's gonna prepare like a hawk, and I think he's gonna come back and have a better game. But I still don't think it'll be enough.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs got that one. Carolina at home against the Houston Texans. Tough game.
Tough. Cam didn't look didn't look too good.
They didn't look too bad, considering he has no receivers.
Yeah, I'll say that. Okay, taking that into consideration, then he didn't look too bad. But the QB situation for Houston.
Ryan Mallett came in and threw a touchdown, actually.
Yeah, I don't. If he's gonna, did they say he's gonna play or?
I don't think they've officially released who the starter is gonna be.
Just for that reason, I'll go with Carolina.
I think that's fair. I did this last night with Joey. We were trying to figure out, going through our pickings and stuff, and I really struggled on this game. I said if Ryan Mallett's the QB, I'm going with the Texans. So for that reason, I'm picking the Texans to win this game. Wouldn't blow my mind. Obviously, the Panthers won, but I'm just gonna go with the Texans here. I think DeAndre Hopkins has another good game. I think that he's going to really emerge this year. I think people are going to I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be in the top 10 receiver conversation after this season. I think people are going to see just how good he is. I think that is going to be the key to success. I think they might just have a little bit too much offensive output, especially also if Luke Kuechly's not playing too.
Okay.
San Fran going to Pittsburgh to face off with the Steelers.
I got to go with San Fran. Just
wow.
I got to go with San Fran.
Wow.
They showed me enough. The Steelers defense showed me enough that they stink, and
they suck.
I know, and it showed me enough to pick that Colin Kaepernick's gonna have a good day. Hyde again, he's gonna run all over them, and I think they're gonna come out with the victory. Wouldn't that be something though? 49ers 2-0. Nobody expected that.
I'm not buying into. I think Big Ben throws all over them. Like I said, a 400-yard day.
Yeah?
I think Big Ben throws all over them.
Okay.
That 49ers defense was not tested very much because
the
Vikings looked terrible. I mean, the Vikings looked terrible.
They looked like an 0-16 team.
No, they really did. Like, they look like they're picking number one.
Like we were all expecting Terry Bridgewater to have no, he's going to take the next step, have a good...
Eddie AP coming back. Mike Wallace is a nice weapon to have. Just nothing. Nothing from that team as a whole. But I think Pittsburgh wins. I think Pittsburgh... Now, I'm not saying it's a blowout, though. Keep that in mind. Because that Steelers defense is historically bad. I'm telling you that one. Tampa up against division rival, going to New Orleans. I got the Saints, and I hate that you're hesitating.
Yeah, I'm picking the Saints. I'm going.
But it shows how much we differ because we've spoke about this off air. I think Drew Brees has a real good season. You completely disagree. You think he's way on the decline.
And people have backed me up and said
no. See, that's the thing about it. I think is interesting. That the whole Drew Brees idea is some people think that he'll have a good season, and some people don't. I think people are split in the middle, and you can't say someone's crazy for saying the either way. Normally I yell at you when you say certain things. I didn't yell at you. I said I understand it, but I do think that Drew Brees has a good year. I think maybe it starts right here with this game. Here's the one thing though. You look at what Mariota did week 1 to Tampa. If Drew Brees does not have a real good,
that's a great point.
That's a very bad sign.
That's a great point.
That's a very bad sign.
That would be a great point, and he would even be like, look at this rookie quarterback, first game. Look what he did. And
touchdowns in the first half. So we'll see what happens there. The Lions going to Minnesota. I definitely have the Lions. The X Factor.
Yeah, how could you pick the Vikings after a game like that?
Not. I think the X Factor is going to be Amir Abdullah. Okay. I think the rookie back has a big week.
Yeah. Showed me a lot. Because we saw how bad the rushing defense was.
And I just think that Amir Abdullah was maybe the one bright spot for Detroit after losing that game to San Diego.
Yeah, I want to see something from Calvin Johnson, man.
4 targets, 2 grabs.
Come on, man.
I don't know what's going on there. He's got to fit. Stafford too. He threw the ball to targets. He targeted Calvin 4 times. Golden Tate 8.
Come on. He
targeted Eric Ebron more than Calvin.
Calvin's probably like going in his ear, like, what are you doing here? Let's go.
Hey, remember?
Let's go.
Remember? Like,
I almost broke the record for receiving yards. Give me the ball.
Yeah, 100%. The Cardinals going to Chicago.
I'll go with the Cardinals. Cardinals are good.
Carson
Palmer.
Very good.
Carson Palmer. Very impressive.
Very good. Now, I said this. I don't think it's going to be a huge victory. I think this actually might be a good game. The Bears kind of look pretty good in week 1. They only lost by 8 to the Packers.
Yeah, but I feel like they always give the Packers a good game. It's no division game.
But, that game was at Lambeau, too, if I'm not... Or was it in Chicago? Oh, I can't remember.
It was at the Bears.
Okay, but they played well. It wouldn't be crazy to me for the Bears to win this game, but I just think that right now I'm not going to pick against Carson Palmer until he gives me a reason to.
Yeah, and their defense was good, as you know.
Now we have the Buffalo New England game. We went over this already. I said Buffalo, and you like the Patriots in this one. moving right along. San Diego taking the trip to Ohio to play the Cincinnati Bengals. What are you thinking? It's a good game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I think the second half, Philip Rivers turned it on. Like, all right, let's go. I'm gonna start playing now. I think he's gonna be too much.
I like the Bengals. I think the Bengals are gonna be a real good team this year. I mean, week one, obviously the Raiders look terrible, but I don't think that's only because the Raiders are terrible. I think the Bengals are a very good team. I think that they show it again up against maybe a more formidable opponent in San Diego. I think the Bengals have a nice week here.
Okay.
Tennessee Titans are going to start 2-0 because they're going to play against the Cleveland Browns. Marcus Mariota is going to look like the holy.
He's a bad guy. You should have picked me number 1.
So I think the Titans win.
Yeah, me too.
Easily.
Yeah.
Good game here. Atlanta coming to visit us here in New York. Well, technically, actually Jersey, but they're playing the Giants.
I'm gonna go Atlanta. I think I like Atlanta a lot more than people do. Matt Ryan, he's always been a solid quarterback. He's able to get the job done. Julio went off. I think he's gonna go off again. Rodgers Kamari looked good, but he wasn't going up against Dez for most of the game. So I think I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
I got the Giants in this one. I think the offense turns it up. I think the big day for the offense.
Okay.
That's what I'm expecting. I think Odell.
He once he got hit in that game.
I wouldn't say that. No, he was still doing his thing. He just wasn't targeted too much. Eli was throwing the ball short. I just think Eli has a nice game here. And I think the offense wins in this one. The Rams, the big bad St. Louis Rams.
They're gonna be 2-0.
They're gonna be 2-0 because they're going to Washington. I don't know when I'm gonna be picking the Redskins to win this year. I don't know when that's gonna happen.
I'll tell you what. The Packers are going to be 2-0. Seahawks are going to be 0-2.
Well, we'll get there. But I got the Rams definitely in a blowout fashion. I think they're going to look awesome against the Redskins. Miami, they're going to beat Jacksonville. I mean, there's not much to say there.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Jacksonville's.
How about Baltimore, Oakland? I mean, I'm definitely picking Baltimore.
Yeah, me too. But
do you think they struggle again, or do you think it's a bounce back?
I don't think it's an impressive win. I think it's just they win.
I don't know. I think Baltimore has a good week. I don't know. I think Forsett gets a touchdown. I think Flacco hooks up with Steve Smith for a touchdown. I think that they actually have a good week, Baltimore. Right. That's why
I think they're gonna win, but it's not gonna be impressively.
Okay. We went over the Philly Dallas game. I got Philly. You got the boys. Now this Sunday night game. The reason why I said hold up here, I got the Seahawks actually.
You got the Seahawks. Okay.
Game is at Lambeau. Seahawks kind of have Rodgers' number, and I just think that I don't know. I like the Seahawks this week. I think that the way Forte ran over the Packers, I think you might see Marshawn for a big game. I think Jimmy Graham catches a touchdown every game this year.
Okay. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna. No, I think he's gonna have a big day.
Really?
400+ yards.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Even against that defense, I think they were.
Wow.
They showed they were missing They were missing Chancellor.
Wow.
Yep.
That's bold, my man.
That's my bold prediction for the week.
That's bold. That is something else.
Rodgers.
I don't even think he threw for 200 in week 1.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll say he throws under 300.
Okay.
How about that?
All right.
I'm taking wow.
Yeah.
400 plus against the Seahawks.
Yeah. At his hometown, at home, I think he's gonna do it.
Wow. So it's a blowout win though?
Oh, so I don't think it's a blowout win, but I think they're gonna win.
So the Seahawks have a nice offensive day too then.
Yeah. I think Marshawn's gonna have a nice day, like you said. So I think Jimmy Graham's gonna have a touchdown again.
Wow. Okay. I'm interested now. I'm interested. Keep that phone on.
Oh, I will.
I'll be texting you.
I will.
But my phone goes off. He starts killing it. Now the Monday night game. A game that probably when you looked at the schedule, as a Jet fan, you probably said, uh-oh. Not anymore. I had the Jets winning. I
Me
had
too.
The Jets beating.
Wow, I thought you were gonna be like yell at me for that one.
No, you got it, man.
Yeah.
I got the Jets.
Me too.
Here to me is why though. If T.Y. Hilton doesn't play, I think the Jets for sure.
But I think
if T.Y. plays, it's a little bit closer.
I think if T.Y. doesn't play, then Cromartie doesn't play. So I think it's
no. But even if here's the thing now. To me, the Colts are significantly worse. Their most important player outside of Andrew Luck is T.Y. Hilton, and I didn't realize it. I didn't realize how important he was because this reason, right? T.Y.'s gone. Revis covers Andre, which means Andre's not playing. Basically.
Yeah.
Okay? Who's he throwing to? I mean, you have Dwayne Allen and Kobe Fleener as like the dual tight end combo, but neither of them are that impressive. As a pair, they're decent. But Frank Gore didn't look that great.
No.
And the Jets' run defense is there. I mean, Dante Moncrief, Philip Dorsett.
I think Luck's gonna have 2 picks.
I think Luck gets a better week than what he did.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna have 2 picks.
I think the Jets get this victory.
Me too.
I think the Jets get this victory.
Me too.
And I'm telling you, the X factor is Chris Ivory.
Yep. Again, I think he's gonna have a big day again.
I think Chris Ivory is going to march his way to a big season.
Oh yeah, me too.
Any closing statements? Anything you want to leave the people with?
I hope the Cowboys win, so I'm right.
Let's go, Eagles. That's all the time we have. Final whistle. Kevin Walsh, Dave Giacomino. Stick with us here on WICR. Next show coming up starting at 2. We'll see you guys next time.